Good morning. Today is Monday, October 21st. This is Wake Up with KERA News. I'm Andrew Garcia. You can expect it to be sunny and warm today with highs in the mid-80s and a slight breeze. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 63. Coming up, we'll take a deep dive into U.S. Senator Ted Cruz's policy priorities and his tenure as a senator. That's coming up in a few minutes, but first, the morning's headlines. The Texas Supreme Court has rejected the state attorney general's request to reconsider its order to delay the execution of Robert Roberson. Yesterday's decision ensures Roberson will testify today before the Texas House Criminal Jurisprudence Committee, but it's unclear if Roberson will appear virtually or in person. Attorney General Ken Paxton argued that Roberson should testify remotely because it would be too dangerous to bring the death row inmate to the Capitol, but Roberson's attorney said he has autism and has been solitary for over 20 years. He will not be able to communicate effectively over a computer link. A Fort Worth police officer who was involved in a deadly high-speed chase will not face criminal charges. That was decided by a Tarrant County jury last week. 57-year-old Andre Carr was killed when a police SUV driven by an unidentified officer hit his car and ejected him from the vehicle. The officer was chasing a suspected stolen vehicle when the crash happened. Early voting begins today across Texas for the 2024 general election. The biggest contest on the ballot after the presidency, of course, is the U.S. Senate race between Republican incumbent Ted Cruz and his Democratic challenger, Dallas area Congressman Colin Allred. In the first of two features on the candidates, Houston Public Media's Andrew Snyder has this profile of Cruz, who is seeking a third term.
Ted Cruz has opposed legalized abortion throughout his political life, so it's significant that as he runs for re-election in the wake of the Supreme Court's repeal of Roe v. Wade, he's tried to deflect questions about where he stands on Texas's abortion ban, as in this interview on KHOU.
Are you okay with no exception for rape and incest in the state of Texas?
Well, that's a question the state legislature is going to decide.
What does Ted Cruz think?
I think it is up to the voters of Texas to decide that.
What do you...
I recognize you don't like that answer, but that's my answer anyway.
I'm trying to get an answer.
I have given you an answer.
Cruz is not known for pulling his punches. Take his stance in February on the Senate border bill, which was meant to be bipartisan, but which ultimately failed in the face of overwhelming Republican opposition.
My views on this bill have not been ambiguous. At the last press conference we had here, I described it as, quote, a steaming pile of crap.
Cruz has long argued for tougher border controls, but he condemned the border bill as bad politics and bad policy.
We have the worst rate of illegal immigration in our nation's history. People are dying. Children are being brutalized. Women are being sexually assaulted. Over 100,000 people died of overdoses last year. This bill doesn't fix it.
Despite Cruz's rhetoric, FBI data show violent crime is down, and research shows illegal immigrants in Texas are arrested at less than half the rate compared with native-born U.S. citizens for violent and drug crimes.
He's a bomb thrower.
Stephen Smith, a political scientist at Washington University in St. Louis, says Cruz is one of the most conservative Republicans in the Senate. That sometimes puts him crosswise with his own party's leadership, especially when it comes to voting on funding bills known as continuing resolutions needed to avoid a government shutdown.
In 2023, Senator Cruz was one of 9 Republicans who opposed the continuing resolution, and it put him out there on the far right.
Which isn't to say Cruz can't be constructive. Vanderbilt University's Alan Wiseman, who co-directs the Center for Effective Lawmaking, puts Cruz in the middle of the pack when it comes to his ability to get legislation passed.
It's also the case that in general, he seems to be more high-performing compared to other Republicans when he's in the minority party, which is somewhat unusual, actually.
A case in point is when he worked with Washington Democrat Maria Cantwell to approve investments of over $4 billion in airports across the country, including Texas. He also worked with South Texas Democrats to build or widen bridges to Mexico.
By expanding this bridge, by creating more lanes for commerce, the trucks can move more quickly, the goods can get to the customers faster, which lowers prices for consumers, and they pollute a whole lot less when they don't sit in a parking lot for hours waiting on the traffic jam.
Stephen Smith says these examples are notable because it's so rare to see him in a cooperative mood. He usually only works with other Republicans.
That, of course, may have something to do with the fact that he was facing a potentially difficult re-election bid.
Some believe he's softening his image to win over undecided voters. The latest poll from the University of Houston's Hobby School of Public Affairs shows Cruz with a 4-point lead over Colin Allred among likely voters. I'm Andrew Schneider in Houston.
Listen tomorrow to hear a profile of Cruz's challenger, Dallas area Congressman Colin Allred. After a rough loss last week to the Detroit Lions, the Dallas Cowboys were on a bye this week, though the Dallas Stars continue their winning ways by beating the Edmonton Oilers 4-2 on Saturday. They face the Buffalo Sabres tomorrow. Disney fans should head to the Arlington Museum of Art on Friday for a special after-hours event. The museum is open late, so you can check out the new exhibitions that feature costumes and jewelry from your favorite Disney movies. The event also includes a screening of the 1993 film Hocus Pocus. For more information and other things to do, visit kera.org/calendar. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. The show was produced and edited by Shardae White and Becca Moore. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter, written by our colleague Catherine Hobbs. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at KERATX. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.